Hi there, this is Dr. Embuddy. I'm one of the two instructors for CSE 231. So why are we here? Well, we're really, our goal ultimately as computer scientists is to try and write programs that are going to make people's lives better. We include a video on the first page that shows a woman getting an exoskeleton, a nice combination of mechanical engineering, computer science, electrical engineering to try and allow somebody who is wheelchair bound to actually be able to walk. So what is this course about? Well, this is really problem solving using a computer. And you know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, this course is about programming. And yeah, we do a lot of programming, but it's really about problem solving using or in the context of programming. And in fact, the problem solving is the hardest part of this. So back in 2007, now 12 years ago, Dr. Punch and I converted this course to Python. We ended up writing a book because at the time there was no textbook. There were Python books, but there weren't any textbooks. And one of the reasons that we did that is that Python as a programming language allows you to do more quickly, and so it is very effective as a first programming language, and it's also very powerful. So many of you are not computers, in fact most of you are not computer science majors, and at the end of this course you will have learned how to solve problems using a computer, and you know, and hopefully you will find that to be a useful tool. One way to think about our goal in this course is that you'll see a problem and you go, oh, hey, I can write a program to do that. So that's kind of what this course is about. So let's take a look at a few components of it, give you a little bit of an idea at what we'll be dealing with here. This first page that you see here on the web, if you look at the top, you can see the URL. It's a little small, maybe you can zoom in, but anyways, it's www.cse, that's Computer Science and Engineering, .msu, Michigan State.edu, educational, /tilde, that's that little squiggly thing, CSE 231. And that gets us to the web page. That's a starting point for many aspects of this course. We also have a presence on D2L, and you'll want to use that. In particular, that gives you access to this software called Mimir that our dean has graciously paid for. And so you'll want to access that through D2L because it's free if you do it that way. So the concept of this course, the way Punch and I created it as a hybrid course, is that you will read the book and then we provide some videos to supplement that. So yeah, you really, you know, in order to get all the information, you do need to read the book. Fortunately, this edition has been out for a while. There's secondhand copies. There's ones you can rent, and the library has multiple ones on reserve for the course, because it being a large course. So you've really got no excuse not to you know, take the time to do that. And we also put the first two chapters, chapter 0, chapter 1. We put a draft PDF up so that maybe if you're ordering it online or you haven't gotten around to the bookstore to buy it, you can at least get started on the first week while you're getting settled in. So when you go to this first page, there are 3 links here, and you know, one of them, okay, is obviously a syllabus in there, which has got all sorts of good stuff. I'll talk about that a little more about that later. But there's a Start Here link, and you know, so what is this? Well, you know, this is this hybrid course. Our videos are not really lectures. There's a set that explain topics, and then there's a set that show you how to use things. And the everything assumes that you've actually read the text before you look at the videos, read the text before you do the weekly lab exercise. So so what do we have in here? So first one, every week, and it's pretty relentless. You're going to read a chapter in the text. You're going to watch the videos that tell you, how to do these things. There will be a set of online exercises. We call these the chapter exercises, and that you will have to do. These are done collaboratively, so you don't get together with a friend or classmate to do these. They are just little exercises. Every week there is a lab. Most of you will have a physical lab to go to. Some of you are online doing that. Notice that there is a pre-lab that is part of that. Pre-lab is found on D2L. And so you want to do that before the lab, because it's called a pre-lab. And that's just to get you prepared so that then when you do the lab exercise, you can do it. Again, labs are done collaboratively. And then finally, there's a weekly programming project. That one is done on your own. Okay, that's important. If you don't do it if you do it collaboratively with somebody else, then you'll get a 0 on it, and you don't want to do that. Get 2 zeros, we'll give you a 0 for the course. So we're quite strict about that. We run all the programs through a program that analyzes them and looks for similarities and that type of thing. Check the syllabus. The syllabus has more about that. Important. Okay, a hybrid or online course really requires a different personal discipline than your typical in-class lecture situation. So if this is your first one like this, then pay attention to that. You need this sort of personal discipline to make sure you go through all 5 of these steps every week. I'm not going to tell you. You're big kids. There are due dates on this. This is not an asynchronous online course. It's very synchronous. There are specific due dates. So students in sections 1 to 25 will actually have a physical lab to attend. Those who are in 730, they do everything, but they do the labs on their own. So make sure you read the syllabus. It lays out important details, a few things that are important in there. When are things due, the due dates. When are the exams? There's 2 midterms and a final. There's information about support. We have Piazza for online questions, and then there's also a help room. I'll show you where that schedule is. There is a text, and be a little careful when you're looking at online to pick up editions. That check out the editions that we list there. Occasionally, there are other things, supplemental material for the text that we don't use, and you don't want to end up buying those things, online things. Labs. There's a weird way that we count labs to your grade. We expect you to do them. And if you don't do labs, then what we do, so they don't count as points to your final grade, but if you don't do them, what we start doing is docking that final grade. So we give a little flexibility. There's about 15 labs. You get to miss a couple of them. You're sick, or you can't get out of bed, or whatever it is. I don't care. But you miss the 3rd one, and we take your final grade and we take 0.5 off it. So for example, if you were going to get a 3.5, you now have a 3.0. You miss yet another one, now you're down to a 2.5, and so on. So we expect you to go there, expect you to work collaboratively with the labs, but don't miss them, because we pull out a very big stick and hit you hard with that. All right, so let's take a look at some of these links. there is a syllabus. Let's take a look at obviously that link is not working, so I've got to fix that. There's this due dates page, okay, and there's a link there, and it tells you, when you have things that are due. Notice that there are due dates listed on Fridays for the labs. Those are applied to section 730. For the rest of you people in sections 1 to 25, you just go to your lab and that's when you do that. Notice, once we get rolling here, we get a project every week except when we have an exam. And so it's pretty relentless. As soon as you get done with one, you're off and doing the next one. So be aware of that. And then there is the online content. Let me back up here. So here's the syllabus. It's got things about all the standard stuff that's on there: due dates, grades, when the exams are. We don't have the final exam location yet. Talks about the labs and what the expectations are there, and the chapter exercises and the computer products. Academic integrity, make sure you pay attention to that. A very useful statement is this one. If you show your code to another student, you're almost guaranteed a 0, because most novice programmers will not be able to think of another way to do it. They'll basically end up copying your code or sharing it with somebody else who copies it. And then you end up with a 0. So watch out for that. Always, if you have questions on that, let us know. This link is where all the good stuff is. Once we get the help room schedule, that will show up here, and things like that. I mentioned, well, here's this video here. There's the exoskeleton one, and then every week here there is, says, all right, there's a chapter that you have to read, and then here's some videos along the way, and here's the lab to do. Remember to do the pre-lab, and there's the programming project, and every week looks like that. So that is your guide. And as I mentioned, there is you might want to take a look at the Hour of a Code, a little bit of a gentle introduction, and grab a copy of Python for your own computer. And it's important that it's some version of Python 3. There's a thing called Python 2. You don't want to be doing that. So there's this weekly rhythm to the course. Read a chapter, watch the videos, do the chapter exercises, do the lab, do the project. Boom, next week, same thing. Read a chapter, watch a video, and so on. And there's this weekly rhythm to this course that's pretty relentless, because we have to take you from nothing. Our assumption is that nobody is programmed. We got to take you from nothing to somebody who has programming as a useful problem-solving tool. If you're curious, roughly a quarter of the class will have programmed before. Sometimes it feels like everybody has, but the great majority of you have not programmed before. And an interesting thing is that if 25% of the people have programmed before, when I look at 4.0 grades, there will be a smaller percentage of those, fewer than 25% will be getting 4 points in the course. So, in some sort of a non-intuitive way, programming previously hurt you in terms of getting a 4.0 in this class. Kind of weird, but that's what the data is, and it's very consistent in that. So, frequently students will say, well, I've never programmed before. Well, yeah, nobody else has either. So a couple of tips: read the text and start your programming projects early. We know about problem solving is that if you start early, you can set it down, walk away, and you come back and look at it again, and you'll be able to figure it out. So with that, we've got a lot to do. We try to make the programming projects interesting. I hope you enjoy this course. If you find yourself starting to get sidetracked, things are falling behind, get in touch with us. That's what we're here for. All right. Good luck.